Have you ever wondered how to generate $1,000 just speaking? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to generate your first $1,000 through speaking. So stick around. So the first thing to identify when you want to generate $1,000 is through speaking is that you need a product or you need a service. Now, here's some beautiful things about services and here's some beautiful things about products. The reality is that products scale faster than services. Why? Because products can be created and you don't have to necessarily spend your time to fulfill on what you're selling. With services, you're typically exchanging a service that has to do with exchanging of time, typically you or someone on your team that will then need to fulfill on that service. So its services are amazing, but it just takes time to fulfill them. Whereas if you had a product, you can scale that product without spending more time. You create it once, for example, like a book, right? You may want to create a book or you may already have a book. This is one of my books called Services Speaking. This, I did this book once, but now I can sell hundreds and thousands of copies of this book, and it doesn't take more of my time other than our team just shipping and sending it out there. Same thing with an e-course or a digital program. You create that program once, and then now you can package that program and sell it, and it's not going to take you more time to fulfill on that because you've already did the work once. So number one, you have to identify, do you want to have a service or do you want to have a product? I personally have both. I have products and services that I teach and I show people how to create because through my brand called The Service of Speaking, speaking is a service, right? And if you're going to speak, getting speaking engagements and all of that, you're going to need to have an investment attached to that, but you're also going to need to have topics that you speak on so you can get paid, right? Or you need to have an educational platform that can help you to serve through speaking, right? Service of Speaking is all about helping you to understand that the highest level of service is actually speaking. So in this video, I'm going to continue to share with you some insights on how you can monetize your first $1,000 through speaking. But these are some things that you need to have in place. And I don't want to assume anything on this video. And I want to empower you to have these key ingredients in place before generating your first $1,000 through speaking. So number one, let's identify a product or service. Now, some people ask me this all the time. They're like, well, Israel, I know that I'm called to generate, and I know that I have expertise. I know that I have education. I know that I have experience, but I just don't know what angle I should focus on. I have so many different ideas, Israel. I want to do this. I want to do that. I have this business on the side. I have this over here. And I always tell people the same thing. I'm like, look, you got to start with one thing. So for you, even though you may be gifted in many different areas and you could potentially monetize in many different angles, start with one. Okay. So whatever result you deliver, that's what you need to start with. So to fast track you, I have a principle that we teach called the 3-1-3 principle. And the 3-1-3 principle goes like this. There's only 3 results or transformations or manifestations that you can deliver when you serve someone through your product or your service. So write them down. Number one, right? You can deliver what we call a emotional transformation or emotional result. What is an emotional transformation or an emotional result? Well, it has to deal with typically mindset, a mindset shift, and or relational or relationship result. For example, you may help save marriages through your product or service. That's an emotional transformation, an emotional result. You may help people better improve their mood, right? Maybe they're depressed and you through your process, through your education, through your wisdom, you're able to help them get undepressed, right? That's an emotional transformation, okay? So you have to identify, okay, is my product in alignment to this? And if it is, now you have some clarity and you have really one of the most important steps. Number two, the second result that you can deliver is what we call a physical transformation. Now, a physical transformation is simply what people talk about the health transformation. It's when someone is, let's say someone's overweight and you through your product or service, you're able to now help them lose 50 pounds, 20 pounds. That's an amazing result. And that's what we call a physical transformation. Let's say you're someone that helps people, eat more healthier or help people improve the nutrition. That's a physical transformation. Let's say you're actually a health coach and you actually go to the gym with people and you actually take them through, a certain exercise or a certain methodology. That's a physical transformation. So you see how you need to identify, okay, is my product or service connected to this result? This, by the way, guys, may seem so simple because it is. This is a simple process, easy. You can do this. And this right here, you need to focus on answering. Number 3 is when we have what we call a financial revelation and a financial transformation. For example, what we do, we focus on helping people build wealth through the service of speaking. And not only just any wealth, generational wealth through the service of speaking. That's what we do in our company. And it's a financial breakthrough. You may teach people how to build generational wealth through real estate investment, or maybe other assets that you invest and teach people how to invest. That's a financial transformation. Let's say you help people or you help people land their dream home. That's a financial transformation. So I hope you're getting clarity by now. Okay, I see where I need to choose and what I need to select to get very clear on what my message to market is. Write it down. Your message to market is all about what result you deliver and for what market you deliver that result to. See, one of the greatest mistakes I see people making online is that they try to be everyone to everyone, and they end up reaching no one. You have to be very specific and specialized with what result you deliver and who you serve. Extremely important. And this is very key before moving on to actually how do I generate the $1,000 through speaking. So once you've created your product or service, now it's time to put a price tag on it, or what I call investment on it. Because change that wording. Never use the word price. Always use the word investment. Now, you could do it very easy. I mean, you could do it 1 or 2 steps. You can take the approach that most people take. And what is that approach? Well, most people take this approach right here. They'll go ahead and create a product and they want to generate their first $1,000. They'll just go ahead and position it at $1,000. And if you want to regenerate your first 1,000, guess what? You just need one person to raise their hand at $1,000 and you just generated your first 1,000, which I'm going to show you how in a moment. Or some people say, you know what? I want to create a $100 product. Well, how many people do you need? You just need 10 people. And some people say, you know what? No, I'm at a different level. I want to generate well more than $1,000 per product, right? We have coaching programs all the way up to $1 million. It just depends on where people are at and who I'm serving. So if you want to solve a big problem and help somebody solve a big solution, you can. There's people out there that have $1 million problems. There's people out there that have $100,000 problems. There's people that have out there that have $1,000 problems. Depending on your offer, you may be serving the market and serving an individual that may be at a different level, and they're already missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars because they don't have your solution. So the moment that you identify your product, the result that you deliver, the message that you have, the market, now I can show you how to use speaking to land your first $1,000. So once you have this in place, there is one stage that is extremely important that everyone can get on, and that are podcasts. There are over 3 million podcasts and counting worldwide. And many times people underestimate podcasts and they disrespect podcasts because they don't know the power of them. I myself, in this last season, have probably booked 19 podcasts in the last 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks alone, and I'm consistently doing podcasts. And I have done podcasts, family, that literally more than 100 days ago, more than 200 days ago, let me just be direct, more than 5 years ago, that still bring me sales today simply by getting on there and speaking on a 30-minute, many times 40-minute podcast and sharing my history and using speaking. And then what happens? People reach out to our company and then we generate not only $1,000, in many cases, we're generating much more just through a simple conversation that I've had on a podcast. So if you want to land your first $1,000, or you want to create your first $1,000 through speaking, you need, number one, you need an offer, you need a product, or you need a service. You need to know what your message to market is, what result you deliver, and then you got to get yourself on podcasts. Get yourself on podcasts, and you don't need many. You just need one or two that work well to get in front of your audience, where then you're able to nurture them, able to create some value for them, and then able to make them an offer. Guys, this is how we're teaching our students how to grow and scale through speaking, simply by sharing their gifts, sharing their history, sharing their expertise on stages such as podcasts. I hope this video gives you clarity. If you love content like this, click the link below and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.